Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. It's about 10 o'clock here in Sydney time, and as you can see, the day has cleared, and it's another cracker autumn day, where Sydney is showing off its absolute finest. How beautiful it is up here. What a beautiful week. It was just 2 days ago when the Opera House was ablazing with the colours of Greece, where we celebrated Greek Independence Day, a day that I'll never forget. Came down here with my beautiful wife Paula after going to a wonderful concert at the town hall, where George Ellis and his orchestra and three brilliant singers performed the Hymn of Liberty. Anyway, let's go on a walk and talk, and as you can see, there's blue sky everywhere. Everywhere I point, you'll see magnificent blue sky, and it comes after a week or two of non-stop rain which caused floods. I can see the harbour waters down there starting to blue up, because they were brown for quite a few days after all the runoff. And we've got a gins festival happening down here in Sydney as well, and it's adjacent to the Museum of Contemporary Art, and there are a number of stalls, and we'll just go above it and I'll show it off. There are a number of stalls where gin distillers from all over Australia are showcasing their product. Well, I think you can go down there and taste and also buy gin, and there are a couple of bars in there with some entertainment and some food. I can see food down there, and it's going to be an awesome experience for anybody wishing to venture into the city and be part of this beautiful event. I'll try and get another angle over here, and then we'll do a book summary. And today's book summary that I would like to run through is entitled Single Tasking by Davora Zack. Davora Zack has written a book entitled Single Tasking. And as you can see, I'll just give you a quick little view here of this little area that's been designated for a gin festival, and strongly recommend that you all come down here today and possibly tomorrow. I'd imagine to be open tomorrow as well. I'll ask and I'll post it in the notes, and we'll see how we go. Anyway, let's continue our walk and talk and chat out this book here. So single tasking. What is single tasking, and why is single tasking important? Especially in a world where people boastfully claim to be multitaskers, especially many of the women that I've worked with and met throughout my life. They all seem to put a high priority and a high value and a sense of pride on being multitaskers. But this author shows us a different view of the world, where they suggest that single tasking is the way to be if you want to be productive and if you want to achieve satisfaction as well as great outcomes and being highly productive. Because single tasking, according to the author, is not a luxury. It is an absolute necessity. So the author then goes on to talk to us about multitasking and the disadvantages of multitasking. And he says that, or she says, I'm not sure if the author is male or female, I'll have to check that one out. Davora, sounds female, but it could be male. Who cares? I'll find out, I'll let you know. But the author goes on to say that multitasking is as bad as being drunk. and gives examples that being on the phone while driving is worse, much worse, than being heavily intoxicated. And the fact that 70% of drivers, up until a certain point, use their phone while driving. But this is probably before we had the mobile phone or the phone detection cameras. But the statistics suggest that 70% of drivers at some point are fiddling with the phone whilst they're behind a wheel. Which means that 17%, according to statisticians, 17% of all car crashes are a result of a distracted driver, which is horrific, especially if you've got your grandchildren or your parents or some other people in your car with you who could be at risk by somebody else's multitasking. So where does that lead us? The next formal point to come out of this book is where the author says that the best way to get around multitasking is to single task. But when you're single tasking, to put as many techniques and combine as many things as you can together so that you can make it a longer but a single task that you can focus on. So chunking things together, breaking them down into small enough pieces so that you can focus on it one at a time, but having it busy enough to be worthwhile to spend your time on it. And the author then goes on to say that we need time. We need time and training in order to develop the skills for single tasking. And it doesn't come easy, especially in a world where we are distracted. We've got multiple people, we've got multiple devices, all fighting for our attention. We've got televisions, we've got radios, we've got mobile phones, we've got radios, two-way radios, you name it. We've got email, we've got telephones, fixed lines, and many, many other things, all vying for our attention. So the author then says that there are two techniques that he advises in order to help us become efficient and effective single taskers. And the one thing is called cluster tasking, where you batch tasks together, which helps save a lot of time and especially mental capacity and mental energy, because you are combining and repeating the same thing over and over again. So clustering things together so that you can do the same sort of routine over and over and over again, so that you can focus on one routine and keep doing it until you get it done, until it becomes automatic to a certain point. So it's basically working in blocks. So block activity, where you decide what you're going to do, you schedule your time in your diary, and you just do it in one block. And you may do it for 60 minutes and then have a break, and then do the same thing again, or do another thing, but another thing that you have defined it as a block where you can concentrate and work on it all at the same time. The other important thing that the author suggests and brings to our attention is the importance of leaving buffers in your schedule, because we're all hopeless, absolutely hopeless at scheduling things and estimating how much time it takes to get things done. So in order to not to alleviate the pressure and to make things easier to deal with, the author here suggests that we leave ample buffers in our schedule so that if we do fall behind, we don't panic. We don't pack our schedule too tightly, so that we can have time to catch up and take stock of the unpredictable things that pop up throughout the day, which are part of the activity that we've decided to work on. So, in a nutshell, what we're saying here is that you need to give yourself permission. You need to give yourself permission and a chance to succeed. And don't push too hard all the time, else you make mistakes and cause problems and challenges which need extra time and effort to solve, and basically make you less effective and far less efficient in your work activity or your social activity, your relationship activity, regardless of what you do. We all need to focus intently on what we want to do so that we can achieve it without having too many issues. So the other thing that the author talks about is that we need to focus intently, but to focus on the things that matter most. Warren Buffett says that what we need to do is to identify 25 tasks that we need to do, or 25 dreams that we want to achieve, or 25 goals, and he calls it the 5-25. And what you do is then you prioritize it and figure out which are your top 5, and then once you've figured out what your top 5 are, Warren Buffett says, then you just simply forget all the other 20 and just focus on the 5 that you've prioritized, because thinking about the other 20 are going to waste your time, waste your energy, waste your effort, and basically distract the living daylights out of you so that you don't get to achieve anything. So the 5-25 technique is something that is very powerful and something very, very worth considering and focusing on. So the last formal point which comes out of this book is that signal tasking won't just make you more productive, it will also make you happier and more fulfilled. I note that the Japanese culture is very focused on this single tasking activity, where you do one thing and you do it very, very well, one thing at a time, and that in itself brings peace of mind, and it also makes you happier, fulfilled, and makes you a nicer person to be around, because there's nothing worse than being with people who are constantly distracted. I happened to go to a concert last night and see quite a few people that I know, but the one thing that I'm learning and noticing a lot more these days than maybe at any other time in my life is that people, even people that you know really, really well, close friends, always seem to be distracted. They're always somewhere else and never quite present in that engagement in that moment at that time. And you feel as if you're imposing on them, and it is a little bit uncomfortable. But it's the way things are these days. It's the way we are with all the distractions, with all the anxiety, because there are people worried about their pasts and anxious about their futures. And by having both of those happening at the same time, they miss out on the opportunity to engage, to unite in spirit, in heart, in breath, and to share a special moment together, even if it's a brief chat. So something to take note of and something for us all to think about, because at the end of the day, people are happier when they are living in the moment. There's a Harvard study that has been developed which suggests that we're all better off when we're doing one thing at a time, and we're living in the moment, and we're focused, and we're present, and we're in a state of flow. Manly Ferry's just moving off, so let's just go up here and watch it churn up the water and take off. So the call to action from this wonderful author is that we need to spend time immersing ourselves in what is happening now. And And what is happening now is that Manly Ferry is just heading off. So it's time to enjoy this moment. And it's coming to you from Jim's 5am Club over here at Circular Quay. So the bottom line, the key lesson, one more time, just so that we get it right, is that if you're distracted, you are always missing out on what's happening now. We've got tootings of horns, so there's lots of distractions here. Which one do we look at? Do we look at the Golden Grove? Do we look at the Collaroy? Do we look at the Borrowdale? Do we look at the other ferries coming in? Do we look at the other one over there? There are just so many things to focus on. But each and every one of us has the power to decide what you focus on. And to take it all in, if you can, at the same time. And to enjoy it as a moment in time. And the author then finishes off with a powerful point that we seem to forget. We seem to forget that we were once children. And children never, ever multitask. They are always present. That's why they're laughing. That's why they're enjoying life. That's why they're curious. Because they're present in the moment. And something happens to us. The years go by. Something happens. I don't know what it is. We grow up. We redefine ourselves. Society redefines ourselves. We pay more attention to the news, to the media, to what other people think. And we lose the present. We lose our present. We lose our opportunity to live our life. So the final point from this author, the massive call to action, is wherever possible, become a kid again. Delegate your worries to God and don't worry about things which are outside of your control, and don't be anxious or too anxious about your future. By all means, look into the future every now and then. Try to see what's happening to avoid pain and suffering. But it's whatever you do now. It's whatever you do in this moment, the decisions you make now, which when compounded with other decisions you do in the constant, never-ending, eternal now, that are going to change your life. So I think I'll leave it there. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club on this magical day. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable. And let's take a lesson from this book. Let's stay single-tasked. Let's stay focused. Let's eliminate the wasteful distractions that we have in our lives. Be kids, be present, be in a flow state, and don't waste any energy worrying about the past, and don't dwell on that past or be anxious or stressed about the future, because the future may never come. All you've got is an eternal now. From the moment you were conceived, you are a member of the eternal now. So make the most of your now. So I think I'll leave it there. So Yasa, Sfilakia from Jim's 5am Club, and I'll come to you again maybe later on today. Tonight I'm going to a dinner for the Greek Independence Day celebrations, which continue for the third day. And I wish you all the best. So hopefully you can get enough out of this material that I present on a daily basis to help us all get through the morning, get through the day, to be the wind beneath our wings, and to hopefully empower us to live, learn and pass it on, and to have a happy life, a productive life, and to be fulfilled and to just have that sense of achievement, of personal achievement, regardless of what it is. And as I said before, let's delegate our problems to God and just focus on what we can do today, now, to make the best and the most of this opportunity that we've been granted as a gift. Yasas, Filakya, bye for now.